What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my next video. Today we're going to be reviewing chapter 1028 of One Piece, and this is actually a pretty big one. There are two different plot threads that this chapter is following, and both of them are actually ones that I'm pretty invested in. So it's going to be exciting to see how those two pan out. But first, let's talk about the color spread, because I actually really like this one. It's Usopp and Nami playing against each other in Smash Bros, but the characters are like the Straw Hats. So we have Zoro as Link, which does actually make sense, you know, they're green. And then we have Donkey Kong, or Frankie as Donkey Kong, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but for some reason also makes a ton of sense, which is weird. And then we have Luffy as Ken, I think. And then Jinbei as Mario, which makes no sense at all, but I still love it. Sanji as, was that a Splatoon character? I'm sorry. And then Brook, not too sure who he is. I'm not too big in Smash Bros. I don't know too much about it. I play it, I have it, like I play it often, not often, but like sometimes. We have Chopper as, I don't know who Chopper's supposed to be, but I'm guessing this is for the recent last fighter, which if you didn't know, it is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which I'm actually kind of happy for like everyone who wanted him, because I heard that was like one of the most popular requests for Smash. So it's really cool that he got in. I also really like the art style in this. Like I like Usopp and Nami, like their design and just the way they're like the art, not the art style, but just the way everything's presented and how they're like their clothes and stuff. It just seems really cool to me. But that's enough about that. So let's talk about the actual chapter. We start off with CP0 giving some pretty big news. So basically, they're saying that if Kaido is defeated, they're gonna annex the land of Wano. And also the way that like CP0 is looking at it, they highly doubt that Kaido's gonna be defeated, which makes me like excited for their reaction when he does. But they're like, okay, so it's 12,000 Kaido's forces versus 8,000 of the samurai forces, which is way less of a difference than before. So Kaido's forces, they're pretty much they're most likely gonna be defeated by the pace that things are going. Which, like, yeah, all of Kaido's subordinates, but would that even matter if Kaido's not going to be defeated? That seems to be their mindset. But anyways, we have another day reveal. We look back to see who the CP0 agent is talking to, and we see Rob Lucci along with Kaku and Stussy. And this isn't too much of a shock to me. You know, CP0, we already knew that Rob Lucci was part of it. But it still is really cool to see him, you know? Like, that's cool, but what I'm more excited about is the thing he says. He says to capture Nicole Robin, which I love that. I don't love the idea of Nicole Robin being captured, but I love that they're looking at Nicole Robin again as something super important, because Nicole Robin is one of the most underestimated Straw Hats in terms of actual importance. I think aside from Luffy, she is the most important and the most dangerous to the world government, which means that she should have a super high bounty, even though she doesn't at all. But yeah, I really like this line. The significance of that woman's presence among pirates cannot be understated, which I completely agree with that. So I'm really excited to see what happens. I doubt they're going to repeat another NES lobby thing where they actually do capture her and stuff, but I feel like I am excited. I don't know how much they're going to flesh out that plot point. It might be something where it's like at the end of the arc, everything's happy again, but then CP0 comes in and like takes Robin, maybe leading to another arc. Or it's like they come in at the end of the arc and then they're like, Luffy just like go away, and then he like beats all of them or whatever. I don't know, because he's already declared war on the world government. He can't make a situation with them any worse. So beating up CP0 agents, he can do that with pretty much no consequences, because the consequences have already been there since NES lobby. Okay, another thing I completely forgot about is Momo. Momo's here. He's trying to stop Onigashima. I don't really care too much about that. But Yamato, she left Momo and she's going back to destroy the explosives, I think, which makes me think, she's not going to do that for no reason, right? That probably means that in the worst case scenario she's imagining is gonna happen, and Onigashima is gonna fall, which makes me lead to believe again that, you know, Momonosuke is gonna hold it up. So, you know, we also get to see her on all fours, which I don't know if this is a form she's shown before. I don't think so, but it looks pretty cool, you know. There's nothing more to say about that. But the last part, or the last half of the chapter, is something that I am really interested in, and it's very Sanji centric. So Sanji, he's fighting with Queen. We don't see Zoro and King in this chapter at all. I doubt we're gonna see them for another couple of chapters, because, you know, maybe Oda does want to draw out the suspense of who King is, and, you know, like speculation is gonna continue on. And I like we're reading this weekly, unless you're watching this like later, but we're reading this weekly. But in like anime, like when you're gonna binge this arc, if it's like this big reveal that's about to happen, and there's no point in skipping one chapter and then revealing it again the next. If he was gonna reveal it soon, he would have just done it in the next chapter, I feel like, right? So I feel like he's gonna wait a couple more at least. Or who knows, I might be wrong. I don't really know much about like pacing. This is just my thoughts, like my opinion. So Sanji is being, you know, he is being kind of overpowered. We get to see his Brachiosaurus, or Queen's Brachiosaurus form, which is very, you know, it exists. We get to see his, what's it called, Brachiosaur hiss, where he like dislodges his head and it turns into like a snake. And actually I really like this line where he goes, this serpentine form is the true nature of the Brachiosaurus, which, like, no, that's just not true at all. Like, and Sanji's like, how's that supposed to work? It's like, it doesn't, you know? But actually before that, one thing that they seemingly kind of gloss over is that we see Izo and Marco, which, like, I feel like we haven't seen them in a while, right? Marco has been gone since, like, all the way, like, maybe 10 chapters ago. I don't know, maybe it seems longer because I'm reading it weekly now, and I'm so used to binging it. I binged it all the way up until like 10:20, and now I'm reading it weekly, so I guess it seems longer than it might actually be. But at first I was like, wait, is that Marco or Hyogoro? But then, like, in the panel to the left, we see Hyogoro, so it's not him. And also Sanji is refusing to use his raid suit. That's another thing. So here Sanji is rejecting his heritage. Not like Dio was rejecting his humanity. No, Sanji is rejecting his heritage. He does not want to be a Vinsmoke. He wants to completely separate himself from it, which is partly why he's not using the raid suit. But I also think why is just because it's taking too much of a toll on his body. Look, I doubt if he put it on, he might be able to get that temporary power boost and like the strength or the advantage that comes with being invisible. Sorry, but I feel like that's just going to continuously weaken him. But there's a very big reveal at the end of the chapter, like Queen, he wraps around him like a snake, and then Sanji, like, it seems like all his bones are broken, but he's like fine, he's alive, even though it doesn't seem like he used armament hockey from what I can see. And then Queen's like, a bunch of armament hockey users have, like, masters have been crushed by it, and yet he hasn't, even though it doesn't seem like he has used it. I don't even know if Sanji's able to use it. I can't remember whether or not they stated that or not. There's a picture here and Sanji's hands are black. I don't know if he's wearing gloves or that's armament hockey. I don't know. But anyway, Sanji, he's alive. And he's like, have I awakened the ability as his brothers? And at the end of the chapter, Queen slings. I love the panel at the end where Queen swings the blade at Sanji and it just breaks in half, which is just so cool. I can imagine, like, I know Sanji gonna be like, oh, Sanji's better than Zoro. You know, Zoro's gonna swing his blade at Sanji and then it's gonna cut in half. Which, like, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. But Sanji has very clearly got a new type of defense. He's way more powerful now than he was before, now that he's awakened his abilities. Now, I have mixed feelings on Sanji having the same powers as his brothers, having the same strength, because, you know, like, the whole point of Whole Cake Island was because he wasn't his brothers. He isn't a genetically improved human, but he still is stronger. He still is able to be strong, which kind of goes out the window when he's like, okay, now he is genetically advanced. You know, he does have all these power-ups. He is one of his brothers. But I feel like that also is kind of rectified when at the end he's like, this sucks, I don't want to be a monster too. So it's kind of giving this internal conflict to Sanji, to where he's like, I don't want to be able to use this power, but like it's a part of him now. He is the monster that he is describing. So I think there is, like, obviously he can control the fact that whenever the blade gets swung at him, it's gonna break in half. But I feel like there is gonna be a part where he can control his newfound powers, and he's gonna have that conflict inside of him of whether or not to use it. My guess is that he's going to be in a life or death situation where it's like he could survive it if he just uses it, but he doesn't want to, and he's gonna have that, like, conflict within him. And I think eventually, it's hard to say whether or not he'll use it. I think he will eventually, but that is assuming that he gets some kind of control over it. Another thing I want to talk about is Queen. He reminded me a lot of Caesar in this chapter for some reason, like Caesar the clown, and in the fact that he's this really intelligent, like, genius scientist who makes these brilliant inventions, right? But he's also super dumb. Like, there's his body is voice activated, and he activates it not once but twice, just essentially attacking himself. Like, come on, man, come on, you're better than this. You could say that, oh, he hasn't like had to use it before, so maybe, but like he didn't even try to use it. He tried to explain it to his opponent, which maybe he hasn't. Sanji's the first person he's explained it to, but come on, like Queen, it doesn't seem like he sustained that many injuries from it, but yeah, I guess that's it. I really like the panel at the end where Queen just like swings it. You could see the sword breaking, and Sanji's like, ouch, and then like the fragments of the blades coming off of him. And I feel like Queen too looks really, like, he does look menacing in it too. And yeah, there is going to be a break next week, as it says at the end of the chapter, which is sad, but you know, whatever Oda needs for his health. If Oda is ever like in a point where his health is at stake, you know, his health will be deteriorating, I would wholeheartedly encourage him to take a break. You know, he take a break for as long as he needs. His work ethic is insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. So a break next week, I'm fine with it, even though I am excited to see what happens next. Next chapter might be a Sanji and Queen focus, or it might bounce around to something else. My guess is that it's gonna bounce around like it's been doing these past couple of chapters. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.